Do you feel good this morning?
Yes.
Now let's try it again. Let's say it like we feel good. Good morning.
Good morning.
That's better. Good morning. Today, as many of you know, we have 5 senses. You know what the 5 senses are, right? They're your eyes, you can see with, you can hear, you can touch, you can smell, and you can taste. There are 5 senses. Each of these senses are important to us. This morning, we're going to test our sense of touch. You know what it means to touch something? Has anybody ever been told not to touch a brother or sister? Adults, have anybody ever been told to keep your hands to yourself? Yeah. Think about that. Now look at this. This morning, we're going to test that sense of touch and discover the power that's in that sense of touch. I have a little bag here. And I've got a couple things in here. I need a couple volunteers. Scarlett, Faye, and come on. Anybody who wants to volunteer, all of you come up here. Come up here. Come on. We're going to take turns. Here's what I want you to do. Okay. You can gather around the circle. Get a circle. No line. Circle. Come here, Reagan. Reagan, come here, sweetie. You, Faith, right here. Boys, right here. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I want you to close your eyes. Now, this is going to be hard on all. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. No peeking, no looking. I'm going to put something in your hand. And when I put something in your hand, I want you, don't tell me what it is, but feel of it. Remember what it is, and I'm going to let somebody else use it. Everybody close your eyes. Feel of it. See what it is. Feel of this. See what it is. Scarlett, hold it. Both hands. You can feel it. Both hands. Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You feel it? Both hands. Right here. Faith, hold it. Feel it both hands. Okay, give me that minute. Give me that, Scarlett. Give me that, Faith. Okay, and Daniel, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Hold this. Now tell me, don't look. Okay, here. Annie, what did you have? A pencil. What did you have, Scarlett? A truck. What did you have? What did you have, Daniel? A ball. Okay, close your eyes. Y'all four go sit down. Go sit down. The rest of you, stay up here. Stay up here. Annie, Scarlett, Daniel, sit down. Okay, come here. Close your eyes. Right? Close your eyes. Come here. If you haven't killed anything, come here. Don't look. Don't look. Hold it. Tell me what it is. Hold on. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Don't look. Don't look. Give me this. Give me this. Give me this. Skylar, what did you have? You remember? A ball. What did you have right here? A truck. What did you have? A doll. Hold your eyes. Hold your eyes. Hold your eyes. What do you have? Let me have it back. You're broken. Okay. Now go sit down. Okay. That took a minute, but do you know what it was? Wait. Here. We all could tell what it was by feeling it, couldn't we? We all knew what it was, even if we had our eyes closed. The sense of touch is very important. We can often tell what an object is by the size, its shape, and its texture, all of which can be learned by using our sense of touch. This morning, I want to tell you about a woman who experienced the power of Jesus just by touching him. And that's part of our message today for the adults too. One day, Jesus was walking through a large crowd of people. The people were crowding around him so much that he could hardly move. There was a woman in the crowd who had a very bad sore and that had been bleeding for 12 years. And she had been to many doctors. She had been to a lot of people trying to get it fixed, but none had been able to help her. She had heard about Jesus, and she believed that he could heal her. But there were so many people who were crowded around her that she couldn't get to him. The woman thought to herself, if I could just touch the hem of his garment, if I could just touch his robe, I would be healed. So she pushed through the crowds, and she reached out and she touched Jesus' clothes. Her bleeding stopped, and her sore was healed, and her suffering was ended. The Bible tells us that as soon as the woman touched him, Jesus felt the power leave him. He turned to the woman and said, "Your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be free from your suffering." You know, sometimes all we have to do is reach out to Jesus and He'll heal us. Let us pray. Dear Jesus, we long to reach out and touch you and to feel the power that you possess in our lives. Lord, just allow us to realize that when we're hurting, that when we're dealing with other things, or if someone hurts our feelings, or if somebody takes something from us that we were playing with, or things along those lines, Father, that we can always reach out to you and that you will heal us. Lord, just be with us, guide us and direct us. In the name of Jesus, we ask these things. Amen.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Kip. Everyone stand, turn around, give each other a smile and handshake. The song that we're going to do is Thank You, Lord, and it will be on the screen, and we will sing it twice.
Amen. You know, we have a lot to be thankful for, don't we? No matter what we're facing, no matter what type of hardships we have, there's always something that the Lord blesses us with. And you know, this morning, as we go to the Lord in prayer, we have several that we need to lift up in prayer. And I'm sure we've got a few requests. One of them, Ms. Barbara. Ms. Barbara is at home. She's recovering from her procedure. Lift her up and the family up as Ms. Barbara recovers. Again, I want to echo what Ms. Dean said a minute ago. Thank you, Jordan. He filled in for us before, and he's filled in for us this morning. He does an excellent job, and we appreciate you being here today, Jordan. Also, lift up Miss Karen. She is at home also, doing a little better, but we still need to lift her up in our prayers. Continue to keep her lifted up. Let's lift up one another. We've got several that are dealing with hay fever, allergies, things along those lines. I know I've dealt with a little myself this week, and lift them up. Are there any other prayer requests that I may have this morning that I may have overlooked? Yes.
Allie Ann is running a temperature of 102.
Ooh. Remember Allie? Or as her grandmother calls her, Allie Ann. This is Burke and Trey's little girl. She said 102. Running a fever of 102. So lift her up in prayer. And lift up Brooke, who's at home with her in prayer.
I just have a praise. My brother has made it home from deployment safely, and he's back with his family in California.
Amen. That's a praise. Amen. And let's also continue to remember for those that are deployed around the world and those that are serving our country. And they're not just serving our country. We say that a lot. They're serving you and me. And they're keeping us safe. So let's remember them. And also our first responders, our police officers, our firefighters, our EMS workers, all those that put themselves in harm's way every day to protect us and to help us. Any others? If not, if you have an unspoken request you'd like to make known by lifting up your hand, please do so now. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for your mercy and your grace. Lord, I thank you for each and every one that's here today. Lord, we thank you for the ones that took the time to come out to worship you this morning in spirit and in truth. Lord, we just pray that your will be done in this place today. Lord, as we come together, as we gather together as one to worship you, Lord, we lift up these requests that we named on today. We lift up the ones that are on the hearts, the ones that are on the prayer list, the ones that were mentioned out loud. Lord, that you will touch each and every need according to your will. Lord, we lift up the families that have lost loved ones, the ones that have passed away, Father. Lord, the ones that you knew, they're with you. They're rejoicing in the streets of gold. But the ones that are still here are mourning that loss, are mourning that empty space. And Lord, we just pray that you touch them in a mighty way and give them peace and comfort that only comes from you. Lord, we lift up the ones that are struggling with illnesses, that are struggling with different infections, different viruses, cancer, diabetes, heart issues, things along those lines, Father. Lord, we just pray you touch each and every person according to your will, Father. Lord, that you'll be with them, meet with them right where they are today. Lord, for the ones that are unable to be here today, Lord, we just pray that your presence, your spirit, adjourns with them right where they are. As we know you come to right where we are, Father. Lord, just be with us, guide us, and direct us in all things. From the singing of your praises to the reading of your holy word. Lord, just be with us, guide us, and direct us. In the name of Jesus, we ask these things. Amen. His name is worship.
Let's stand together for our offertory hymn, hymn number 406, verses 1, 2, and 4.
You know, it is amazing grace, isn't it? It's only by His amazing grace that we're able to gather together today and to fellowship one with another. And you know, I don't apologize. It just is how it is. I get a little choked up at that song. The reason being is because Jesus is the only one that can unshackle you from your chains. And through His amazing grace, He set us free. That's not free to live any way we want. That's not free to live in sin. That's free to worship Him. That's free to come together and fellowship one with another. That's free to know that one day, just like this lake, you know what I'm talking about, walking on the streets of gold, we have that opportunity through Jesus. If you will, go ahead and turn to Mark chapter 5 today. We're going to be looking in verses 21 through 43. And we're going to be looking at the power of touch today. Talked about it a little bit in the children's moment this morning. The power of touch is important, isn't it? Do you ever think about what all you touch during the day? Do you ever think about how important touch is to you? Most of us don't, do we? We just take it for granted. Because we get up in the mornings, we fix our coffee, we brush our teeth, we get ready. Anybody ever do anything in the dark? Am I the only one that gets ready sometimes in the dark? Have you ever brushed your teeth with your eyes closed? You know what I'm talking about? You don't brush your face, do you? You brush your teeth. And you know where it is. Some mornings you might brush your face. But you brush your teeth because you do it by feel, right? Have you ever gone into a room with a child sleeping or something, don't want to turn on the lights, and you walk in and you try to get out clothes and different things? You know where everything is. Now, dads, you're lost. You don't have a clue what I'm talking about. Moms, you know where everything is, right? You know where the socks are. You know where the shirts are, especially for little ones. Teenagers, you just walk into the room, pick something out of the floor, and lay on the bed. Kids, you go to the drawers, it's still there. And you pick it out by touch. Humor's not a bad thing. You pull it out by touch. And you lay it out, and it works. It works. I want to show you something this morning. You know, we rely a lot on our sense of touch. And our other senses too, but I'm going to focus on the sense of touch this morning. We rely so much on it, it has so much healing power that we don't even realize. Let me explain. Because touch and faith go hand in hand. And we're going to talk about the healing power of touch and the healing power of faith both this morning. But I want to give you a little illustration of how tremendous the sense of touch is in our lives, of how important it really is. Anybody know what it's like to have a little one, to be outside in a playground or somewhere else, or be sitting here, and they run across the playground, imagine if you will, the playground. Kid runs across, and he falls, and he skins up his knee. What does he start doing? He starts crying, right? And then he starts hollering what? Mommy! Doesn't he? Doesn't matter which kid, doesn't matter where. Most of the time it's mommy, unless mommy's not there and his daddy or whoever's there. And what do? They run to mommy. And when they run to mommy, what does mommy do? Mommy picks them up, hugs them, picks up the knee, blows on it, and kisses it. And makes it all better. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Now, maybe not everybody does it. And what happens to the little kid? Little kid, bye, going to play. Isn't that what happens most of the time? Hold them for a couple seconds and gone. Now, did that hug and kiss heal that wound? It was still bleeding. They wiped it off, get the bleeding stopped, put a little bandage on it. It still hurt, right? Not as much as the little kid. Why? Because that hug and kiss, that blowing action, that touch, it helped, didn't it? They had faith that mommy was going to take care of it and make it better. And that's what mommy did. How much more faith do we have in Jesus? When we have a boo-boo, we need to go to Him so He can kiss it and make it better. So He can hug it and make it better. Preacher, what are you talking about? Listen to me. There was power in the healing touch of the Master's hand. Isn't there? There is power in the touch of a mother. There is power in the touch of a spouse, of a friend, of someone else. Let me give you an example that us adults can relate to. Anybody this week want to own up and confess, and I'm the first to raise my hand, it's already up. You just had one of those weeks or one day during the weeks where you just needed a hug. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. There's several raising your hand, nodding heads. You just need a hug. What does that hug do? Somebody comes up to you. Have you ever been down in the dumps in a friend, mother, child? It's nothing like a little child coming up to you and giving you a bear hug, is it? Think about that. Friend, child, somebody come up to you and wrap their arms around you and squeeze you tight. For an instant, everything's all right, isn't it? Everything's all right. Now, does that make all the problems go away? It doesn't, does it? They're still there. But do you feel better? You do. Most of us feel better, don't we? Maybe we need to go around and give a few more hugs every once in a while. Maybe we need to share the healing touch that Jesus has given us. Think about that. Remember that as we go through the story today. As we look at Mark chapter 5. Let's look at some scripture this morning to see how touch of Jesus can make everything all better. You know, it's one thing when somebody else gives you a hug, but what's it like to be wrapped up in the arms of Jesus? What's it like to be wrapped up in the arms of the Father? Maybe we need to go to Him a little bit more. Maybe we need to snuggle up close to Him. Because if we don't feel like we're wrapped up in His arms, maybe we've stepped away from Him. We've gotten a little bit further and further away from Him. You know what I'm talking about this morning? Think about it. Got a couple folks nodding your head. You know what I'm talking about. Maybe we need to move closer to Him. Let's look in chapter 5, starting in verse 21. Now when Jesus had crossed over again by boat to the other side, a great multitude gathered to Him, and He was by the sea. And behold, one of the rulers of the synagogue came, Jairus by name. And when he saw Him, he fell at His feet and begged Him earnestly, saying, My little daughter lies at the point of death. Come and lay your hands on her, that she may be healed, and she will live. So Jesus went with him, and a great multitude followed Him and thronged Him. Let's look at that for a minute before we move on. Jesus had just crossed over by boat. And as He was going through the crowd, there was a great multitude around Him. And they were so thick around Him, it says they thronged Him. It was so thick that He couldn't move. Have you ever been in a crowd like that before? Have you ever gone to a festival or anything and been walking through, and you get to the point you're moving like this because you just can't go? People are bumping up against you. That's what I imagine it's like by the description. And He was going through. And notice what happened. This is important. And behold, one of the rulers of the synagogue came. This was somebody of authority, right? And this was one of the Jewish leaders. And notice what happened. Jairus heard that Jesus was coming through, which tells me that he knew about Jesus, didn't he? It tells me that he knew some of the stories that he had heard. He had heard that Jesus had healed people before He got there. He knew the power that He possessed. So what did Jairus do? He had a little girl that was at home at the point of death. She was about to die. What would you do? If it's your little girl, what would you do? What do we do today? We pick them up and we take them to the doctors, don't we? We take them to the physicians. We take them to the hospital to make them better. And we get there, and they say, well, we got a couple doctors, but this guy's the best. We don't know what's wrong, but this guy's the best, and he's your best chance of fixing it. What are you going to do? I want him. Forget the others, I want him. As a mom and a daddy, isn't that what we do? That's what we do, isn't it? I want him. You know that's what Jairus did? Jairus knew what Jesus could do. So he went, and he fought the crowds, and he got to Jesus. And he didn't say, hey, Jesus. No. He got on his knees and he begged. He got on his knees and he begged. Please, my daughter is at the point of death. Please help me. There's not a one of us in here that's a mother or father that wouldn't beg to save your kid's life. Isn't that true? Think about it. What did he do? He begged him. He said, please, she's about to die. You can save him. Save her. Notice, my little daughter lies at the point of death. Come and lay your hands on her, that she may be healed and she will live. That's faith, isn't it? He didn't say, come see what you can do. When we go to the doctor, they tell us what might happen, what could happen. No, what he did is he said, you come, touch her, lay your hands on her, and we know that she will live. That's faith, isn't it? That's true faith. Jairus had true faith in Jesus. Do we have that faith today? Do you have that faith? If we have that faith, we should be on our knees. Listen to me. Asking Him to help us. And there's certain things we probably should be begging for, isn't there? Isn't there? Think about it. We may not be at the point of our little girl or our little boy dying. But if they're lost without Jesus, they're dying, aren't they? So maybe we should be begging for them. If your spouse is lost without Jesus, they're dying. If you're lost without Jesus, you're dying. And you're on your way to hell. Maybe we need to be begging. Maybe we need to be praying that Jesus, please touch them. Lay your hands on them, that they may feel your presence. So what did Jesus do? Look at verse 24. So Jesus went with him, and a great multitude followed with him and thronged him. They wanted to see what was happening, didn't they? They'd already heard these things about Jesus. So Jesus said, okay, I'll go with you. So what happens? What would you do if you were there that day? You want to see this, don't you? I want to see this. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go see if it really happens. I'm going to go see if He can heal it. Isn't that the attitude that they probably had and that most of us would have? Isn't it? Now think about this. Think about this. Jairus was a powerful man. He was well known in this community. Jesus was powerful in a different sense, wasn't he? Jairus didn't have any power to help his daughter. He had plenty of power in the synagogue, plenty of power in the town that he lived in, but he didn't have the power to heal his child. Jesus had no respect in the city. He didn't. But yet, He chose to help a man and to heal him. Killed the little girl. And we're going to see a little bit more, and it's a little deeper here in just a few minutes. But imagine, if you will, as they're gathered together, as they're walking through, they couldn't even walk because of the group around them. The onlookers, the spectators. And I've used this example a few times, but just to give you an idea. Have you ever been going down the highway and there's a wreck? But before you get to that wreck, it starts, you going 65, 70 miles per hour. Some of you 80 to 90 miles per hour. Then you go down and you come to a screeching halt. Isn't it true? And you look around. What do? How many people edge the car over to the right, edge the car over to the left, stick its neck out trying to see what's going on ahead of you? Anybody want to admit to that? There's a few honest people. Now think about this. And there's some people that are pointing. But think about this. It's true, isn't it? That's what our human nature tells us to do. We want to see what's going on and what's keeping us from being late. But then you get up the road and all of a sudden it starts moving a little bit further. And you realize there's a wreck, but it's not your two lanes. It's across the interstate on the other side. Your side is slowed down because people wanted to see what was going on. You know what I'm talking about? We all do, don't we? You know, that's what was happening without cars here. People wanted to see what was going on, so it was jammed together. Let's move on in Scripture. Now we're going to bring a different part into the story. If you will, look at verse 25. Now a certain woman had a flow of blood for 12 years, and had suffered many things from many physicians. She had spent all that she had and was no better, but rather grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came behind him in the crowd and touched his garment. For she said, if only I may touch his clothes, I shall be made well. Let's look at this for a second. This woman had a legitimate issue, didn't she? For 12 years, there was a flow of blood that couldn't be stopped. She had been to doctor after doctor. And from what I read here, and from what we read, she had been put through many different tests and trials, hadn't she? She said she had suffered many things. She had experienced many things. So with these doctors and all, they kept using her, I like to say, as a guinea pig. Y'all know what it's like? My mom knows what it's like. Try all these different trials because they can't figure out what's really going on. So they do this and they do that, trying to fix it. To the extent that she had spent all the money that she had. She had no material wealth left. She had spent everything on trying to get better. Everything on getting well. And she just couldn't get well. But yet she heard about Jesus. She heard about Jesus, what he was doing. And she thought to herself, if I could just touch the hem of his garment. If I could just touch his clothes. I don't have to touch him. If I can just touch his clothes, there's enough power here to heal me. You know what Scripture says? Look at the Scripture. She said if she could just touch the clothes, she had enough faith that she'd be healed. Notice this. She'd gotten worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came behind him in the crowd and touched his garment. For she said, if I only may touch his clothes, I shall be made well. Immediately the fountain of blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of the affliction. Amen. That's a praise, isn't it? That's a praise. She immediately was healed. She felt it. She knew it. She wasn't the only one that felt it, was she? We're going to see in Scripture in a second. Jesus knew it. He felt the power leaving. And notice, she didn't touch him directly, did she? She touched the hem of the garment. She touched his clothes. There was power in the name of Jesus. Maybe we need to use it a little bit more. Maybe we need to seek Jesus a little bit more. Because some of us can use the touch of the great physician. Amen? Some of us need that. It's time to call out to Jesus. Notice what happens here. In verse 30, and Jesus immediately, knowing in himself that power had gone out of him, turned around in the crowd and said, who touched my clothes? But his disciples said to him, you see the multitude thronging you, and you say, who touched me? Can you imagine? Think about it for a second. Jesus is walking along, and all of a sudden, he knows what happens. But he stops and he says, who touched me? Can you imagine being the disciples that were with him? And I imagine they were right around him. Can you imagine them? They're being crushed on all sides by people. They can't move. And they hear Jesus say, who touched me? Think about this. Put yourself in their place. They said, what do you mean, who touched you? We've got all these people around us. They're thinking everybody touched you. Aren't they? Wouldn't you be doing the same? But that's not what he meant. The disciples were looking at it physically. He's talking spiritually. Isn't he? Because somebody was healed. He touched me. You know that song? You know the song, He Touched Me? Jesus touched this woman. And he didn't move his hands, did he? She touched him. But he touched her by healing her. By removing this disease, this problem that she had. Notice this. Verse 33. And he looked around to see her who had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell down before him and told him the whole truth. And he said to her, Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your affliction. Notice what happened. She confessed to Jesus, didn't she? Y'all see a confession there? She confessed to Jesus. And she told him what had happened. Then what happened? Did he say, I healed you? What did he say? He said, your faith has healed you. If you go back and you look at Jesus as he was walking on the earth, he taught faith heals. Didn't he? Who's the faith in? Jesus. Jesus heals, doesn't he? But he wants us to have enough faith to believe that it can happen before it happens. We need to believe without seeing. And we all will say, hey, I believe that Jesus heals. I just don't think he does this right now or does that right now. So we're going to put limitations on Jesus. That's what you're doing, isn't it? You ever thought about that? Jesus can do anything. We're the ones that limit him. Do we believe that he can heal us of our cancer? He can heal us one way or the other, can't he? He can heal us here physically, or he can heal us spiritually and let us walk the streets of gold cancer-free. Amen? But we want what we want. We want everything right here, right now, materialistically. I want to see it. I want to touch it. I want to hear it. I want to smell it. I want to taste it. It's not how Jesus operates, is it? He will meet our needs if we truly believe and seek. Now, there are certain things that he won't do because it's for his honor and his glory. But he does want us to come with confidence and ask that these things be done. Isn't it true? Sometimes we aren't healed because we don't ask. Let's get back to the original story. But before we do, let's look at this. He said, daughter. Notice what he called her. You see that? What did he say? Did he say woman? Woman is a sign of respect, isn't it? In the Jewish community, when you say woman, that's a sign of respect. He didn't call her woman. Now, he respected her. Don't say I'm disrespecting you, because that's not what I'm saying. It was more personal. He said daughter, didn't he? Notice that. He said daughter. She is now a child of the King. Her faith has made her whole. It's healed her. Look at it. Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your affliction. He wasn't talking about just physical affliction, was he? She believed in who he was. He healed her. Now let's look in verse 38. Or 35, I'm sorry. While he was still speaking, some came from the ruler of the synagogue's house who said, your daughter is dead. Why trouble the teacher any further? Can you imagine? Jairus had been with him the whole time this had taken place. He had just seen another woman healed with his own eyes. He saw her healed. And then he got word that his daughter was dead, that she had passed. You know what happened next? Let's look and see. They said, don't bother him anymore. Let it be. There's nothing he can do. It's never too late for Jesus, is it? Until the day you take your last breath, you have ample opportunity to accept him. Notice this. As soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, he said to the ruler of the synagogue, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Only believe. He said, Jairus, don't be afraid. Just believe. Keep the same faith that you had. Just believe. Notice what happens. And he permitted no one to follow him except Peter, James, John, the brother of James. Let's stop there for a second because this is important. Remember, seconds ago, he's surrounded by so many people who can't walk. But then he says, y'all stop. You stay here. Nobody can come except for who I just named. That's it. Why is that? Well, we'll see in a few minutes, but it's because twofold reason. One, in order to be healed, you have to believe and you have to have faith. And when you're praying for somebody to be healed, you need to believe that they can be healed. It doesn't need to be a spectator sport. Understand? The second part is, at this time, Jesus wasn't fully ready to let everybody know who he was. And we'll see that at the end, where he says he gave them strict instructions and not to go and tell everybody. Why? Because they're still looking at the physical instead of the spiritual. Just like we are from time to time. Let's look and he permitted no one to follow him except Peter, James, John, the brother of James. Then he came to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and he saw a tumult, and those who wept and wailed loudly. When he came in, he said to them, "Why make this commotion and weep? This child is not dead, but sleeping." And they ridiculed him. But when he had put them all outside, stop for a second. Notice what happened. When he got there, they were all in mourning, right? And then he said, "This child's not dead, she's just sleeping." Then they ridiculed him. They made fun of him. What did he do next? He made them all go outside. He ushered them out of the house. Why? Unbelief. He got them out of the house, and then what happens? Let's look and see. And they ridiculed him, but when he had put them outside, he took the father and the mother of the child, and those who were with him, the ones he named before, and entered where the child was lying. Then he took the child by the hand and said to her, "Talitha cumi," which is translated, "Little girl, I say to you, arise." Immediately the girl arose and walked, for she was 12 years of age, and they were overcome with great amazement. But he commanded them strictly that no one should know it, and said that something should be given to her to eat. Notice what happened. He made everybody go outside. Then he took the mother and the father and a handful of his disciples, and he went in, and he told her to arise. And she arose from the dead, didn't she? You know what Scripture just said? But then what did he do? He gave them strict commands not to tell anybody. How hard would that be? It'd be hard, wouldn't it? Understand now, when Jesus heals us, today we're called to go and tell others. When he saves our soul, we're called to go and to witness and to testify. But at this point, you've got to understand that he had a plan. And it was the Father's plan that he had to follow. But he came to serve. And he came to heal. This morning, as we close, my question to you this morning is simple. It's as simple as anything in life can be. Do you need a touch of the Master's hand? Do you need his hand upon you today? Do you need to be healed? Do you have enough faith where all you have to do is reach out and grab his garment? Here it is. Here it is. The Word of God. This is the living Word. It's not just a book. You want to grab the garment of Jesus? Why not get the living Word, the living water? here it is. And then if you need to kneel down and beg, here it is. Here's the altar. I don't want everybody to see what I'm doing. The only person that matters is Jesus. Amen? Amen? It's the only person that matters. And it's not for everybody else. It's for you. And maybe we need to kneel down and beg for somebody else. Maybe we need to beg that Jesus saves their soul. You know, I've shared this a couple times, and I'll share it before we close in prayer. It's only through my grandmother's begging. And I say begging, but it's her praying. Her kneeling down by her bedside at night and praying for me that I'm able to stand before you today. It's only through my grandmother's prayers that interceded for all 17 of her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. That's a blessing, isn't it? That's a testimony. That's a legacy that she left. That she could save every one of her children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren at the time of her death was saved. Amen? Can we say that? If not, we need to be praying. Let us pray. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for your mercy and your grace. Lord, I lift up this congregation to you here today. Lord, I pray that your will be done in this place. And Lord, as we close out this morning, Lord, if there's someone here that needs the hand of the Master, if there's someone here that needs to feel that touch, Lord, I pray they seek you today. Lord, if there's someone here that feels the urge, feels the call to lift up another in prayer, Lord, I pray that we do that. Lord, most important, I pray that we follow your will in all things. In the name of Jesus, we ask these things. Amen. Ms. Dean?
Let's stand for a hymn of commitment, hymn number 447, Trust and Obey.
This morning, I hope and pray that all hearts are clear. And as we close in prayer, I want to encourage each of you to stay and eat with us in the fellowship hall. We have a fellowship dinner after church this morning. If you didn't bring anything, that's okay. Please stay with us. We'd love to have you. And as we pray, I'll ask that we bless the food as we pray. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for your mercy and your grace. Lord, I just pray that your will has been done in this place today. And Lord, as we leave, as we go out into our homes, into our communities, into our places of employment, Lord, that you will use us, guide us and direct us. And Lord, that we may lift up others in prayer, that we may seek you in all things. And Lord, just seek to touch the hem of your garment. Lord, I just pray that your will has been done in this place. And Lord, as we gather together to fellowship one with another afterwards at the fellowship hall, Lord, we just pray that you bless this food to nourish our bodies. Bless the hands that prepared it. Lord, just be with us, guide us and direct us in all things. In the name of Jesus, we ask these things. Amen.
Amen.